Hey guys, it's Erica. Welcome back. I'm sitting down today. It's been a long month, but I made it. I made it. It's Friday, it's January 29th, and I did nearly what I had intended to do when I set out on January 1st to just get a little introspective to see what's going right, what's going wrong, or not so well. What am I going to change? How am I going to go? What can I learn from my teaching? My goal basically was to think about my teaching, just do a quick rundown every day. I thought it was going to be mental. I thought maybe I'd journal. I love writing things. But instead, I decided to start a YouTube channel. What the heck, right? Who doesn't have time to film 4 or 5 videos a week? Anyway, as I looked back on my teaching, I'll say that 4 themes emerged. They're all kind of related, but I thought of them as 4 things. So the first one was to be flexible. Second was be prepared, kind of goes together. Third was have strategies, kind of going along with being prepared. And then the fourth was do what works. And that ties directly into this, what happened in trial class today. This didn't work, by the way, but we'll get into that. So with the first one, be flexible. Doesn't it just go without saying? We're teaching kids. They're dynamic little human beings. I mean, our own energy as adults ebbs and flows, and we've got different things going on. Well, so do these kids. And they're pretty honest. If they're having a bad day, they're probably not going to hide it from you. And we know we've had exam season this month, and so that might have changed up the behavior of some of our students and just their mood and how willing they are to work with us, or just maybe they're tapped out. If some of your regular students who are usually rock stars are just not feeling it, maybe they're just not. And so it's our job to be flexible, to just meet them where they're at. But I think with being flexible, we also need to be prepared, right? I mean, besides tech, the tech problems I had this month. I mean, nothing horrible, but dumb things like not charging up my trackpad or forgetting to charge the batteries in my laptop. I think one day my headphones went out because I forgot to charge them. I took it for granted that they're not going to last like a week and a half. Anyway, but besides your tech being prepared, also just be prepared with props. Along those lines, I think if we think back a week or so ago, I had a student during exam season that she was also taking dance lessons. She was exhausted and she can speak, but she chose not to speak. And so by having some props that would draw her into the lesson, that definitely helped. Just beyond supporting the lesson and helping students with vocabulary, having things prepared like props for class can be a great support. And along with being prepared with props and tech, have strategies, number 3. So I think it really helps me to be flexible and be ready to adjust my class if I have some strategies. For example, if I have strategies for dealing with kids that are struggling in level 2 to read, or kids that are struggling in level 7 to read. Those are definitely some different strategies, right? There is different things I could do to support students. Having strategies like quick assessments. If you're in a trial class, if you're meeting with a new student, you want to know very quickly, in a minute or 2 or less, what you're going to need to do in that class to support them. Whether you're going to have to extend the lesson so that you're not playing tic-tac-toe for the last 5 minutes of class, or if you're going to need to simplify things, still meet the lesson objectives, but make it so that it's manageable, that it doesn't feel like the child is just getting overwhelmed and drowning in class, because that's the last thing we want, right? For these kids to feel uncomfortable. We know learning, there's going to be a little bit of confusion. I always tell people, like, the first step of learning is confusion, because that's your motivation for coming back for more to get better, right? But we don't want to get them to that point where they're drowning. I think of that bullseye. I think it's like the zone of proximal development. So we don't want them too far out where they're drowning, but we don't want them like where they can just kick back and relax. We're just kind of right in there, right? Just a little bit beyond what they can do. Scaffolding up, scaffolding down, having strategies in general for how to do that. And then when you look at a lesson, just knowing like what to do. And knowing what to do, that's my final one, doing what works. There were definitely a couple times this month where I knew what I needed to do to help a student, or in this case, use a particular reward system to make an awesome trial class. And I just didn't do it. Why? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I just feel like I need to reinvent the wheel sometimes, or I'm just not thinking. But that was kind of the purpose of this series, to just help me think, to be more intentional. I want to do my best, and I don't want to be banging my head against a wall thinking, oh, why didn't this work? But a real practical example. Okay, these glitter stars, they're great. Maybe. They can be great. They were actually really good with my level 1 student today. I won't get totally into that class, but they worked really well with her for a particular reason. But this was an older student. She's 11. Her name was Angela. She came in for a trial class. It actually booked in one of those final 2 slots that we don't see very much. It was 9 p.m. Beijing. She showed up for a trial class. And usually with trial classes, with new students, I love to do my circle drawings. With her, I might have drawn a cat or a crab or a frog or a dog, or I have a number of them that I do. I generally do a cat because I think I know how to draw that one the best and deliver it. And so that's what I usually do in a trial class. It's usually a hit because the student can join in. Once you've done kind of your mini assessment, you could go ahead and say, oh, this kid can extend. Like, we're going to make this a little more conversational. Or Angela, she was kind of somewhere in the middle. She could speak when she got warmed up, but she was a little shy in the beginning. So this is a reward that I could just use and I can draw. And they can join in if they want to. Sometimes kids get excited and they'll say, it's a cat, it's a pig, it's a circle. All good answers. And so I knew that was going to work. And I started, I don't know why, these glitter stars, they were on my desk. And this was a last minute trial that got booked somewhere in the middle of my teaching day. It wasn't booked when I woke up, but it got booked maybe after class 3. I saw something pop up. Hey, you got a new class at 9 or 8. We're in daylight savings time. Anyway, these glitter stars were here. I don't know if I just panicked. And after I worded the first star and I saw it was like, wah, 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 I thought about just like flinging the stars off the board or the 1 star and just starting to draw, which would have been awkward for like a second, but then it would have been a hit. And I didn't do what works. And I think it's kind of funny that that happened on the very last day of teaching, because I think that is the biggest takeaway of all of this. I've been doing this for 3 years. Obviously, I'm not perfect. I don't know everything, and I'm hoping to learn more. I'd like for things to be less of a pain point, some things that still boggle me, like what to do with kids in level 7 that are in over their head. I feel like I'm still learning what to do with that. But there are some things that I know that I should be doing. Like trial classes, I need to draw. I shine. The best version of me as a teacher comes out when I do circle drawings. When I do any drawings, I'm not a great artist, but for some reason, there's always a great connection when I draw with my students. And so I thought that was, again, very cool that I made this mistake on my final day of teaching. So I was like, do what works. Do what works. You too, do what works. Whether you've been teaching for a month or you've been teaching for 5 years or you're right in there with me, you're, rounding the bend, going into your 4th year, do what works. You know stuff. You're empowered. You have some skills that you can use. So that's my big takeaway, my encouragement to you. Do what works, keeping all the other things in mind too. And next week, we're going to get really practical. I think I've decided Wednesday is going to be our day. So by Wednesday or on Wednesday, you should see a new teaching video. I'm not sure how this is going to go. I'm planning to do a new video once a week, maybe twice a week. We'll see, but once a week at least. And we're going to call this Skills That Pay the Bills, teaching tips you can use tomorrow or tonight, depending on when you're watching this video. And this will just be really practical stuff. I'm not sure where I'm going to start. I thought about perhaps showing you guys my prep sheet. Like, how do I prep for classes? How do I not take a million years to prep for classes? I can do 4 classes pretty quickly. And maybe I'll show you guys how to do that. Or I thought about doing a classroom tour, but you tell me, my 15 subscribers and other viewers that see this channel, tell me in the comments below, what do you want to see? I definitely have some stuff to share. Again, it's my version of how I do things, but a lot of times I'll see something and I spin it my way, something another teacher is doing, and I say, oh, I like that, but I'd do it like this. So that's my hope, that I can share with you what I'm doing and you'll make it your own. So join me next Wednesday. I don't know what time. I'm not going to promise like Wednesday by noon, because you never know how things upload and whatnot. But join me next Wednesday for a more practical teaching series. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.